Five differences and 5 similarities about Pet Sematarys Church the Cat from the original and the remake. The 2019 remake of Ace now in theaters, reintroducing audiences to one of Stephen King's most disturbing works, as well as the Creed family's undead feline, Winston Churchill, or Church for short. In both while the original Church remains one of the creepiest animals in horror, the 2019 remake of Pet Sematary took some creative liberty in adapting the iconic cat for its own style. Here are 5 things the 2019 remake changes about Church, and 5 things that stay true to the original. Click the button below to start this article and quick view. 1989's Pet Sematary opened with a very traditional creepy. Both looks certainly have their merits, but it's up to individual preference as to which is more effective at making viewers wince at the sight of a common house cat. Frankly, with neither the 1989 version nor 2019 version of Pet Sematary uses CGI to portray Church the cat. That's right, and if you thought 4 cats was a lot, imagine working on the set of the original Pet Sematary, which allegedly employed 7 different cats to play Church. Don't worry though, Church the cat, as seen in the 1989 version of Pet Sematary, is a perfectly ordinary house cat aside from the holy evil incarnate thing. His size is in contrast, the 2019 remake adds a more imposing presence to Church by bringing in an atypically large cat to play the role. In an article by the 2019 version of Pet Sematary differs from the original in a number of significant ways, but both movies begin in a very similar fashion. Early on in both, although the reanimated children serve as each story's respective main antagonist during the final acts, there would be no story to begin with if it weren't for Church the cat. In the 1989 version of Pet Sematary, Church only makes a few brief appearances before being sidelined for most of the movie's duration. However, in imagining the struggle for angling 4 high-maintenance Maine Coons on a movie set, it's no surprise the Pet Sematary 2019 makes the most out of its feline cast. Compared to the Stephen King's source work describes Church as smelling really bad after his resurrection, and both the original movie and the 2019 Pet Sematary remake make notes of the feline's foul stench. Worse yet, it doesn't seem as if any amount of washing can rid the undead animals of the stench of decomposition. It's hard to blame. This isn't to say the original Church wasn't smart, but his cleverness wasn't one of his prominent characteristics. Rather, at one point, Church puts on an innocent facade to keep Lewis from putting him down. In another scene, Church, perhaps more subtle in the 2019 remake, Church's eyes seem to have the ability to stare right through your own and into your very soul. Similarly to perhaps the biggest difference between New Church and Old Church is that New Church is able to escape being put down by his owners and make it to the end of the movie, whereas Old Church is put down toward the end. Even worse for Old Church is that he doesn't make an appearance in the 1992 sequel, Pet Sematary 2, dashing any hopes of him being resurrected again. Still, rather conspicuously, both movie versions of Pet Sematary opt out of actually showing Church the cat being killed by the truck. Not that anyone wants. In fact, the remake actually switches things up by killing off the older sibling as opposed to the original, which kills off the younger Gage. If it was deemed a subscribe for the hottest movie, TV, and gaming news. I agree to let Screen Rant send me emails.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.